Hey guys, I'm Brian. I'm with Urban Herbs and Gardening. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is my very first video, so I've already done probably about 20 takes. One of the things that inspired me was a lot of these YouTubers that are out there right now. They're growing these beautiful gardens, and I've always enjoyed growing things. I've had gardens in the past, but this is something that I really wanted to navigate through and really figure out and produce some really good vegetables. There's a couple things that I want to do with this that makes it a little bit different, and I just wanted to kind of share my experiences. One, I'm in a homeowners association. I pay fees so they can tell me what I can and can't do, and it's very frustrating to me. And one of the things that I want to be able to do is show people how to navigate an HOA and get those rules, like find out what those rules are, and then make sure you can put something in place so that you can go ahead and grow a garden without having them come up and tell you have to tear everything down. Especially with raised beds. Raised beds are structures, and when you build a structure, you have to get authorization from the HOA in order to build that structure. So you have to go to, like, there's usually a beautification person or somebody within the HOA that tells you what you can and can't do. I have a very, very tiny yard. My backyard does get sun probably about 8 hours a day. Some areas 6 hours a day. So I'm going to build a couple different raised bed plots, and that way I can do some gardening. I'm also going to learn how to do some vertical gardening, so I can build up rather than outwards, so I can maximize the room of my backyard. And then on top of that, once I start figuring out things, I want to educate my community and feed my community through gardening in all of our different backyards. So follow me, and we'll get to it. Hi guys. Okay, so I wanted just to show you sort of what I've planted so far in my garden. I'm excited about it. So we'll go through everything that I've planted and where everything's at right now. I started a little bit late, so follow me and let's take a look. No. So what we have here is we have my herbs, my fresh herbs. I didn't grow them from seeds because I started so late, so I went ahead and bought plants. A lot of the YouTubers tell you to do seeds with these, but because I started my garden late, I went and just bought plants just so I can start using them. I have them here in the shade because they get about 8 hours, well, about 6 hours of sun. So this is shaded for about 2 hours until the sun circles back around. And it's just because I know I don't want these to bolt too quick because I bought them as plants. And I'm thinking that will work. And they'll stay cool for a little while at the heat of the sun. So what I have here, I did it in alphabetical order. So I'll go backwards. I have some parsley, I have some oregano, I have some mint, it's a spearmint, I have some cilantro and basil, and they're all just basic Bonnie's, plants. I want to get into some more of the rare seeds, so my big hope is that, as the channel goes and I start to meet people, that I can do some seed trading and get some cool stuff. Because I really want chocolate mint. I've had it before and it's amazing, but I haven't found a place to source it, and I just haven't gotten seeds yet or anything. And the ones that I did, I don't know, I'll have to find some of these things. So any help with that would be amazing. I have my rosemary right here, and I bought a plant because it's so much easier. I hope, here in Raleigh, I've seen people plant these up at the front of their driveway, and they become almost like trees. It's pretty impressive. They get so big, and I'm hoping at some point that this will grow to something immense. I have a cherry tomato here. I think it's determinate, but it could be indeterminate. I'm not positive. I don't know if that pot's going to be big enough, but it keeps growing about 5 to 6 inches every day. I also have I have a summer squash and a winter squash here. Through some of my research, I have found that you can the 12-inch pot's fine for one plant, and then I have this really interesting thing happen. It's a volunteer. I don't know if I dropped the seed, but it's there. I was mowing and I saw it. So I tore some of the grass around it. I just want to experiment with it and see what happens. See if it grows. That's pretty cool. Over here is my pepper plant. I just repotted this into a bigger pot, and then I have another bigger pot that I'll repot it if that pot's not big enough. I have cucumbers here. I have this big box here. I don't know a lot of things yet, so I had smaller 8-inch pots, and they grew this big, but then they just kind of stopped. So I transferred them into this bigger one, and then I took out some of the vines. So I'm hoping that this will help out. I also have over here my raised garden bed. I have some bush beans in this front row here. I'm going to transplant some of them because I have to thin them out. So some of them didn't germinate. So I'm gonna just transplant them there so they get nice and good and bushy. I have some different. I have these sweet peppers. They're Bananaramas, 2 of them, and then I have a chocolate beauty here. I have an eggplant, watermelon over in the corner. I have some more cucumbers back there in the corners. The 3 tiny plants that you see here, these are sun cherry tomatoes, and I got them late at a nursery, and they had these little tiny cherry tomatoes on them. So my son Grayson and I tried them, and they were the most delicious thing we had ever eaten. They were just tiny little ones. Oh, and Khyler. Khyler ended up, we brought one for Khyler. He said, and me. And as you can see, there's a lot of new growth. What happened is I planted them, and the leaves kind of died off, but now there's new growth going. So I'm hopeful that I can make them go. I have 3 here. I don't know how they're going to do, but we'll see. In the back row there are some cantaloupe. I have this little trellis up. I'm going to have to get another green stake to kind of hold it up better in the middle, because I do know that they vine, and then they're going to vine over, and I'll have them go and travel up this embankment hill here. And then I have another cantaloupe there. As you can tell, we love cantaloupe. So we'll see how it goes. I have some pepper plants coming up here. I have some more little pepper plants coming up. And then I have an nasturtium, and I have some bunching onions right there. Oh yeah, that was Grayson's experiment, and it got knocked over by some dogs that escaped from their yard. And so I'm hoping that it didn't jostle it too much, but we'll see. Those are hot pepper, cayenne pepper starts. While we were at the garden center, he tried a cayenne pepper after I told him not to. And then he tricked his brother into having some too. Both of their mouths were on fire, but they kept the seeds, and they want to see if they can grow them. So we're leaving that right there right now. Move this over here. And then here, now this is the most interesting thing in the world. Lift that up. So the most interesting thing in the world is we had some volunteer pumpkins pop up. And what's interesting is last year we went to the pumpkin farm, and we had these tiny little decorative pumpkins that we got. They sat out my front porch too long. So my son, Grayson, wanted to feed the tree. So he threw the pumpkin out here by my tree, and suddenly this spring we had about I think 30, 40 little plants popping out. I knew exactly what it was. It was the pumpkin. So I thinned them out. I started to see which plants were going to do the best. I thinned them out, and this is our pumpkin patch. We've already got some beautiful pumpkins going. There's one there, and we have this one here. And I think they're just going to be the small decorative pumpkins. I don't know if you can eat them. I'm sure you probably can. But anyways, I think what the boys want to do with them is if we get a whole bunch of them, they want to come out here and start a business and sell little pumpkins. But anyways, we'll see how that goes.